The Wolf of Wall Street is an interesting film featuring one of the most controversial characters in all of Scorsese's films. The Wolf of Wall Street is a film based on the real-life story of Jordan Belfort, a stockbroker who engaged in fraudulent activities and was eventually sentenced to prison. The movie portrays the fast-paced and high-stakes world of Wall Street, and it may have given some people a skewed or glamorized version of the stock market. In the film, we see Belfort's rise from working in penny stocks to creating his own company, to the eventual downfall of Belfort and his capture by the FBI. The film itself depicts the dark underbelly of the stock market, and Belfort is in many ways portrayed as the villain. Although he is the protagonist and we are oftentimes rooting for him, on the surface we know he is a bad guy. But here at If I Were a Villain, we want to go a bit deeper and see why this movie had such a big impact on people view the stock market and in what ways Leo was able to portray Jordan Belfort accurately. As always, there will be spoilers coming up, so if you haven't watched the film, I'd highly recommend checking it out before we ruin the whole thing for you. In general, the stock market is influenced by a wide range of factors, including economic conditions, company performance, global events, and investor sentiment. The impact of a single movie on the stock market is likely to be minimal, especially compared to these other factors. It is possible that the movie may have had some influence on public perceptions of the stock market and financial industry. The movie portrays a glamorized and often unethical view of the stock market, and some people may have been influenced by this portrayal. Remember this scene? To hype up his team, he pays a woman $10,000 to shave her head, and the entire room goes nuts as the woman just sits there. This alpha-like energy had many looking up to Belfort, inspired by his carefree and selfish lifestyle. However, it is important to remember that the events depicted in the movie are not necessarily representative of the financial industry as a whole, and that there are many ethical and responsible professionals working in the field. Jordan Belfort is played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who is considered to be a great choice for a number of reasons. First, DiCaprio is a highly talented and versatile actor who is known for his ability to transform into a wide range of characters. Another reason is that DiCaprio and Belfort have some physical similarities, which likely made it easier for DiCaprio to portray Belfort on screen. For example, both men have similar facial features and hairstyles. Finally, DiCaprio has a strong track record of collaborating with director Martin Scorsese, and the two have a strong working relationship. DiCaprio's performance in the movie was widely praised by critics, and we still think he should have gotten an Oscar for it. Alright, let's dig into how Leo ended up portraying Belfort and in what ways he learned to embody the role. How Jordan Belfort taught Leo to take drugs. Leonardo DiCaprio has stated that he has never done drugs. He says he has seen drugs being used around him since he was 3 to 4 years old. Getting into Hollywood and seeing what it does to people made him want to stay away entirely from them. After seeing the movie, it's shocking that he hasn't ever done drugs because his portrayal of Belfort really comes off from a genuine place of understanding. Keep in mind, Belfort is using drugs pretty much the entire movie, which is insane to think that this is based on a true story. In studying for the role, Leo wanted to capture the real essence of Jordan, which we'll get into in a minute. He wanted to learn exactly what you experience after using drugs, even in situations of an overdose. To learn, Leo actually hung out with Belfort and asked him to show him what it's like to be on Quaaludes. Together, they emulated the movements, including drooling and crawling on the floor. In an interview from The Independent, DiCaprio retells the story and says it ends with his father walking in asking, "What the fuck are you doing?" DiCaprio wasn't the only one taking an insane amount of fake drugs on set. Jonah Hill, who played Danny Osnoff, ended up being hospitalized after snorting too much fake cocaine. Okay, quick film fact side note. Of course we know the drugs the actors are taking during the movie aren't real. But do you know what these actual substitutes are? In the case of Wolf of Wall Street, cocaine is vitamin D in powder form, which Jonah Hill described as literally doing fake coke for like 7 months every day, talking about his experience on set. Although it was a lot, he said he felt like he could lift a car above his head. Damn. We really need to give props to both of them, but it really shows how well-rounded of an actor DiCaprio is. We've spoken about actors who are the total package before, with Brad Pitt and Tyler Durden. But it's insane that Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't do drugs, and yet he is spending nearly a year doing fake coke and drooling on the floor in front of his parents so that he could play the part correctly. And by all means, he absolutely crushes it. With drugs being such an integral part of the film, Martin Scorsese even hired a drug expert for guidance to be on set for the actors, as well as the actual Jordan Belfort helping out Leo on set, giving him advice on how the drugs should be affecting him. Another way Jordan Belfort and Leo's time together impacted his portrayal was that Leo truly tried to copy each and every essence of Jordan, copying how he talks and how he walks, and even trying to capture how he enters into a room and irradiates his charisma and confidence. Leo had already read the book Wolf of Wall Street, but he wanted to know what it was like inside of Jordan's minds during some of the events. He wanted to really get into every single detail of what Jordan had experienced. While watching the movie for the first time, Jordan was speechless seeing how good Leo did the job. He was impressed both in a good way and bad way. Seeing Leo nailing his presence was good for the other audience, but for Jordan, it was also kind of thrilling. He felt all the emotions that he had already experienced. Seeing the drugs being used, he got flashbacks of the events which he had left behind. I can totally see his perspective here, that it's definitely exciting to jump back into that crazy lifestyle that you had before, but it's also a harsh reminder of where you came from and, all of the stuff that's been bad. Belfort's biggest request was to have a cameo in the film, which of course Scorsese obliged. We see him as a speaker in New Zealand introducing Jordan Belfort at the end of the movie. Let's talk about the similarities between Leonardo DiCaprio and the real-life Jordan Belfort. We saw how Jordan Belfort likes to spend his money. He constantly used it on drugs, prostitutes, luxury items, and again, drugs. He always wanted a king-like lifestyle. So when his empire was running like a machine, Jordan and his friends did not shy away from entertainment. Buying expensive cars, yachts, and properties became an ordinary thing. They worked tirelessly to keep their company at the top, but also partied like animals whenever they got the chance. What about Leo, though? Leo might not be as wealthy as Jordan Belfort in his golden age, but still, he is a millionaire superstar with a ton of money to throw around. According to some reports and sources, Leo does spend some of his time on yachts with supermodels, but likely isn't on crazy drug benders like Belfort was at the time. When it comes to dating and women, there are definitely some similarities. The recent meme about DiCaprio not dating women above 25 seems hilariously true, but Belfort himself also was interested in younger women as well in his early days. The biggest difference between them was Belfort was known for hiring prostitutes and frequently cheating on his wife. Jordan's first wife, Denise Lombardo, and him divorced after he met Nadine Karadi at a party. He had 2 kids with Nadine before getting divorced after she accused him of physically abusing her while his drug addiction got worse. Currently, he is engaged to his girlfriend Ann Cope. They met in 2008 after Belfort was released from prison. But what about our boy Leo? The media always finds Leo being with supermodels and stars who are younger than him. It's actually pretty interesting. Le Fell magazine looked into Leonardo DiCaprio's controversial relationship timeline. You should really take a look on the list. Did you know Leo suffered from a facial injury because a model named Aretha Wilson hit him with a broken bottle? She was actually put in jail for 2 years. Leo stated that he is in no rush to marry, since his parents had separated when he was a child, and he wouldn't want to do that to his children. I want to talk about briefly how the media covered the movie at the time of its release. It has been almost 10 years since the film's release in 2013, and the culture of media and television has changed drastically since then. The media generally had a positive reaction to the movie, with many reviewers praising the performance of the cast, particularly Leonardo DiCaprio, as the main character Jordan Belfort. The movie was also praised for its depiction of excess and decadence of the financial industry in the 1990s. However, some critics felt that the movie idolized Belfort's unethical and illegal behavior, and there was some debate about whether the movie should have taken a more critical stance towards its subject matter. I'm not totally sure how the public would react to this movie today. Though it was still beautifully shot and had outstanding performances by the cast, the subject material is really touchy in today's environment, and it's possible more people would have felt that this film was a glorification of this lifestyle rather than an in-depth look at the life of an enigmatic character. On the other hand, many people have been talking about this Sigma persona. Sigma is a term that's sometimes used in discussions and personality type theory to describe a particular personality type. They are believed to be analytical and logical and prefer solitude to social interaction. Although Belfort is extremely extroverted and is definitely more of an alpha leader type, there is no denying that his carefree attitudes about drugs, women, and work present some serious Sigma vibes, which is a trend we are starting to see people really get into. Let us know in the comments if you think Belfort is more of an alpha or a Sigma. All right, this is going to be the end of this one, folks. Thanks for watching, and we really hoped you enjoyed this one. We are super open to feedback, so if you have any ideas for videos or want to see us dig deeper into a subject, let us know. Thanks again, and please subscribe.